Am I the only one that didn't know Epstein kept a birthday scrapbook? I mean, we've all heard the rumors, the endless speculation, the late-night jokes and the headlines that never seem to go away. But a literal scrapbook filled with personal letters, birthday wishes, and notes from some of the most powerful people on the planet, that's a whole new level of bizarre. Imagine flipping through a book and seeing not just the names, but the actual handwriting of world leaders, Hollywood icons, tech moguls, and even royalty, all wishing Jeffrey Epstein a happy birthday or sharing inside jokes. It's the kind of thing you'd expect in a movie about secret societies, not real life. And yet, here we are, staring down the rabbit hole once again. And what's inside this scrapbook? Letters from world leaders and celebrities? Yes, you heard that right. Not just a few polite notes, but a treasure trove of correspondence that reads like a who's who of the global elite. Because what's in it just got revealed, and it's wild. We're talking about messages that range from the mundane to the downright shocking, from casual dinner invitations to cryptic references that make you wonder what was really going on behind closed doors. Some of these letters are so personal, so revealing, that they're already sending shockwaves through the worlds of politics, entertainment, and tech. It's as if the private lives of the rich and powerful have been cracked open for all to see, and the fallout is just beginning. So here's what happened. On August 5th, a massive trove of Jeffrey Epstein's private letters, emails, and photos was published by the New York Times. This wasn't just a leak, it was a data dump of epic proportions, the kind of thing that instantly becomes the talk of every newsroom, every social media feed, and every dinner table conversation. Journalists pored over thousands of pages, piecing together a timeline of Epstein's relationships, his influence, and the web of connections that seemed to stretch into every corner of power. The New York Times, known for its rigorous reporting and high standards, didn't just publish a few highlights. They released a detailed exposé, complete with scans of the actual documents, expert analysis, and interviews with sources close to the investigation. The result? A public reckoning with the uncomfortable truth that Epstein's reach was even broader, and his circle even more exclusive than anyone had previously imagined. These aren't just random messages, these are notes from filmmakers, ex-presidents, tech billionaires, and even a few royals. The kind of people who usually operate behind layers of security, PR teams, and carefully crafted public images. Suddenly, their private words to Epstein are out in the open, and the world is reading between the lines. Some letters are filled with flattery, others with inside jokes, and a few with requests that seem innocent on the surface but take on a whole new meaning in light of what we now know about Epstein's activities. There are invitations to exclusive events, discussions about philanthropy, and even hints at business deals that may have been brokered in the shadows. The sheer variety of correspondence is staggering. Directors whose films have won Oscars, presidents who have shaped history, tech innovators who have changed the way we live, and royals whose every move is scrutinized by the press. It's a glimpse into a world most of us will never see, and it's both fascinating and deeply unsettling. Some letters sound innocent enough, small talk about dinner parties, thank yous for gifts, or updates on mutual friends, but others disturbing. There are references to private jets, secretive meetings, and coded language that investigators are still trying to decipher. Some correspondents seem eager to distance themselves from Epstein, while others appear to be vying for his attention, hoping to stay in his good graces. The tone shifts from friendly to formal to downright strange, sometimes within the same letter. And as more details emerge, it's becoming clear that these weren't just casual acquaintances. They were relationships built on mutual benefit, shared secrets, and in some cases, a willingness to look the other way. Take Woody Allen, for example. In one letter, he joked about guests at Castle Dracula, a reference that's both tongue-in-cheek and, given the context, more than a little unsettling. Was it just a joke, or was there something more to these gatherings? The line between humor and horror blurs when you consider the company and the setting. Allen's correspondence is just one example of the strange, sometimes surreal tone that runs through many of these letters. It's as if the people involved were playing a game with rules only they understood, a game that the rest of us are only now beginning to glimpse. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak called Epstein a collector of people. It's a phrase that's both revealing and chilling. What does it mean to collect people? In Epstein's world, it seems to have meant building a network of influence so vast and so interconnected that it became almost impossible to untangle. Barak's comment, whether meant as a compliment or a warning, speaks to the heart of the scandal. Epstein wasn't just a socialite or a financier, he was a master manipulator, someone who understood the value of relationships and used them to his advantage. The letters show how he cultivated friendships, leveraged favors, and positioned himself at the center of a web that spanned continents and industries. And then there are the photos, images that capture Epstein with Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and even the Pope. These aren't just casual snapshots, they're evidence of a man who moved effortlessly between worlds, who could be seen at a political fundraiser one night and a tech summit the next. The photos raise as many questions as they answer. How well did these people know Epstein? What did they talk about behind closed doors? And perhaps most importantly, what did they know about his darker side? The visual record is damning, not because it proves guilt, but because it shows just how deeply embedded Epstein was in the fabric of global power. People are freaking out online. The reaction has been immediate and intense, with social media platforms lighting up as users dissect every detail, speculate about hidden meanings, and share their own theories about what really happened. Hashtags are trending, memes are spreading, and everyone from amateur sleuths to professional journalists is weighing in. The sheer volume Some users are focused on the details of the letters themselves, analyzing handwriting, decoding references, and trying to piece together the timeline. Others are looking at the bigger picture, asking what this all means for the future of accountability, transparency, and trust in our institutions. The digital age has turned this scandal into a worldwide event, and the ripple effects are only just beginning to be felt. Some celebs are silent, others deny everything. The response from those named in the letters has been mixed, to say the least. A few have issued carefully worded statements, insisting that their relationship with Epstein was purely professional, or that they had no knowledge of his criminal activities. Others have gone into hiding, refusing to answer questions or appear in public. And then, there are those who have doubled down, attacking the media, blaming political enemies, or claiming that the whole thing is a smear campaign. The denials are as varied as the people making them, but one thing is clear: the pressure is mounting and the world is watching. Meanwhile, the Justice Department just refused to release more Epstein files, which has only fueled more questions and conspiracies. The official explanation is that the documents are part of an ongoing investigation, but for many, it feels like yet another cover-up. Protesters have gathered outside courthouses, demanding transparency and accountability. Legal experts are debating the merits of the government's position, while conspiracy theorists are having a field day, connecting dots and spinning elaborate narratives about what's really going on behind the scenes. The refusal to release the files has become a rallying cry for those who believe that the truth is being hidden, and that the full extent of Epstein's crimes, and his connections, may never be known. So, does this finally pull back the curtain on who Epstein really knew and who might have protected him? Or are we just seeing the surface of a much deeper, more complex story? The letters and photos provide tantalizing clues, but they also raise new questions. Who else was in Epstein's orbit? What secrets are still hidden in sealed files and private conversations? And perhaps most importantly, will we ever get the full story, or will the truth remain just out of reach, obscured by power, privilege, and the passage of time? The search for answers continues, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Or is this just the tip of something bigger? Every new revelation seems to open up a dozen new mysteries, and the sense of unease is growing. The iceberg analogy feels more apt than ever. What we see above the surface is shocking enough, but what lies beneath could be even more explosive. Investigators are working around the clock. Journalists are chasing leads, and the public is demanding answers. The story is far from over, and the next chapter could be even more dramatic than what we've seen so far. As more documents are uncovered and more voices come forward, the true scope of Epstein's influence, and the complicity of those around him, may finally come to light. If you want the latest as it unfolds, hit subscribe and let me know. What do you think these letters actually reveal? Are we finally getting closer to the truth, or is this just another chapter in a never-ending saga of secrets and lies? Your voice matters, and together, we can keep the pressure on for answers, accountability, and real change. Stay tuned, stay curious, and don't be afraid to ask the tough questions, because in a story this big, every detail counts.